So I went downstairs and did a blood test, and he called me that day and was like, Rick, I really need to see you come in here. Can you come back today? And I was like, that's strange, right? And I went back and he goes, I want to talk to you because your numbers are off the charts.
Wow.
Like my triglycerides was like over 1,000 points. And I don't know nothing about health or medical or my labs and stuff, but he said my readings were worse than that of diabetics. And he's like, I'm actually really scared for you because like your heart could stop any moment. There's like so many things that you're prone to right now, and I really want you to go talk to our bariatric surgeon. So he scheduled an
Oh,
appointment within a week. And when I walked into the office, there's this poster of this doctor, and I guess he's like the head of bariatric surgery. And I met with him. And I was like, why would I be meeting with that guy? And he talked to me about it, and he's like, Rick, you're in bad shape. I'm worried that if you don't do something fast, that that you're going to develop something that you're not going to be able to get rid of, and it could be bad, right?
hey, everybody. Welcome to Running Strong Mind Body Connection podcast. I have this amazing guest today, Rick Teresa. Now, I met him and I always meet people in the most interesting ways. And what is it, running? I'm just running along. I start chatting with people. That's just who I am. And I met this guy, and I'm just inspired by his amazing story. Rick, I'm so excited to have you on this podcast, and I'm excited to have people learn about you and be inspired by your story and more some. So, welcome to the podcast, Rick.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. You're my first podcast.
Yay!
So
well,
yeah,
well, congratulations for your first podcast.
exciting. Yeah, give me
Don't
a
be
good memory.
nervous. We're just going to have fun. We'll just flow through this and let it go. So, I was running CIM this year, California International Marathon, which I always do, and I always run it with my buddy, Captain Kirk. And he and I just run along. And then I don't know, I started talking to you, or we passed you, and you're running with us. And he just blurted out this story. So, Rick, I'd love to have you because that was what inspired me and kind of your little path there, because this is a lot of people can be on that path. And you're going to be that token of inspiration for people. So, would you share your story with
Maybe.
us?
Yeah, no, definitely. That's something that I can't come to grasp with, and I'm part of a group called F3,
Yeah.
which is what I'm wearing, and it's called Fitness, Fellowship, and Faith, and it has nothing to do with it's non-denominational. It's more like faith in yourself, right? And I've I've had some crazy challenges over the last like year and a half to 2 years, and I've been talking to my guys, and everybody's like, "You got to share your story. You got to share your story. You can inspire so many people." And I'm like, "How can I inspire people?" So yeah, no, like just the funny thing is I don't even remember how our conversation started. If for a second there, like my memory tells me that maybe you were talking to one of my buddies that I was running with, and maybe he gave you a little bit about me, and then you came up, and it was
Maybe I sometimes I don't remember, but number one, I know that I meet people all the time. That's
yeah.
my nature. And then if they have a story, it's like, and then I love hearing those stories. I love learning about people. And then this podcast is going to just make that happen even more.
You know what? I remember now. I remember because you came up and you just asked me like a normal question, like, "Hey, is your first time?" or something like that.
There you go.
And 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 I was already. I think we were like mile 4, 5
Yep.
through 6 or something. And so that's what my normal like mileage is right now, or was up until CIM. 4 to 6 miles, 2 to 3 times a week, and never more than that. I just started working out. So um yeah, you came up and you said something, and then I was like, one, feeling good, soup, like really on that high of like, I can't believe I'm here and I'm doing this, right? But really excited about it. And so, yeah, I probably blurted out a bunch of stuff about me and my life, and then made you kind of hang back and be like, really? And then I think that's what initiated.
Let's blurt out that stuff because I want people to hear your story and you have a beautiful story. So tell us where yeah, share that and where did you come
So
from?
I think I think I started off telling you that like in April of 2024 I weighed like 374 pounds. That was my
Wow.
deal. Yeah. And since then, I had lost like 80 pounds on diet alone.
Can I
Uh,
stop you there? How did you get to that weight?
ooh, ooh. It was a success. Or let me start over. I found my wife, my girlfriend, became my wife, got married, had kids, got successful, and just lived a life of gluttony and just got really comfortable and got really careless, stopped exercising. Not that I exercised much in the past, but and kind of like devoted my entire life to my family, like 24/7, 365 for 14 years. So when you do that, you kind of alienate yourself. Well, at least I did from the outside world or friends or hobbies. So I literally was like work, wife, kids, any spare time, I don't know, couch and movies for a long time. Extracurricular activities in the beginning of the relationship, but towards halfway through, towards the end, just literally nothing. No traveling. Did a lot of Disneyland and wasting money on that. But yeah, no, that was that. So careless eating, lots of careless eating, drinking, not like drinking heavily, but like drinking a lot of beer, always having beer in the fridge, drinking like 6 sodas, Cokes a day, sometimes
Wow.
more. Working in construction, I used to travel a lot. And so, living on the road is like just eating junk and got really used to eating, like overeating, just stuffing my face. And I feel like I stretched my stomach so much that I could eat large meals, and I got so accustomed to like eating large meals. Um, and now I realize that as a kid growing up, I grew up poor, and my culture teaches us to finish what's on your plate.
Sure.
Don't leave the table without finishing it. So it became a habit, obviously, that I never really paid attention to. So now, as I was older and like just overeating, whatever I'd order or whatever I would make or put on my plate, I finished it no matter what. So
Right.
yeah,
Right. So what was your big turning point? What was
big turning point was I just was feeling very tired, very exhausted. Like I couldn't think, I couldn't process. I lost my job. I was depressed, fighting a lot with my wife, and I was like, I need to make a change. And like, I was big for 10 years of the relationship. We had my daughter 3 years into the marriage. And when my daughter was born, I feel like I'm the one that had the cravings, because I ate a
mm,
lot. So I was heavy for the majority part of the latter end of my marriage. So um, I always was like, I need to lose weight. I want to get into it. So I'd go to my doctor and I'd be like, hey, can you help me out? And he'd be like, yeah, I got you. And I would go to Sutter and he would refer me to the weight management center. And I was supposed to call them and they were going to, I don't know, help me out with some plan. But I would never call. Not that I didn't want to, it was more work for me to do. So I just didn't do it. So it wasn't that important for me. And I did that over the course of a few years until finally I was like, all right, I'm going to go this time. But I was still not making that phone call. But I would go to the doctor's office just to schedule that doctor's appointment and be proactive. And I went in and he goes, you know what? Let's do some labs. And I go, okay. So I went downstairs and did a blood test. And he called me that day and was like, Rick, I really need to see you come in here. Can you come back today? And I was like, that's strange, right? And I went back and he goes, I want to talk to you because your numbers are off the charts. Like
Wow.
like my triglycerides was like over 1,000 points. And I don't know nothing about health or medical or my labs and stuff, but he said my readings were worse than that of diabetics. And he's like, I'm actually really scared for you because like your heart could stop any moment. There's like so many things that you're prone to right now, and I really want you to go talk to our bariatric surgeon. So he scheduled an
Oh,
appointment within a week. And when I walked into the office, there's this poster of this doctor, and I guess he's like the head of bariatric surgery. And I met with him. I was like, why would I be meeting with that guy? And he talked to me about it, and he's like, Rick, you're in bad shape. I'm worried that if you don't do something fast, that that you're going to develop something that you're not going to be able to get rid of, and it could be bad, right? He goes, the reason why I suggest we do one of these three surgeries is that it's the he said, like, it's the fastest way for us to drop a significant amount of weight in the least amount of time to potentially get you to the point where we're saving you, right? We're keeping you from that moment where you're too far, the point of no return. And so I was like, man, okay, if that's what you say, if you say so, right? I was like, all right, man, I'm all in. What do I got to do? And so it's like, all right, so I'm going to give you 15 days. I need you to lose like 15 pounds, and then we'll schedule your surgery. Which one of these three do you want? And it was like gastric bypass, the sleeve, and some other one. I don't remember, like a hybrid or something like that. And so in that time, I called a couple friends that I heard did stuff, and they're like, yeah, man, I lost like 60 pounds in like 2 months. I was like, oh, wow, it works, huh? But then one buddy called me after, like, we had talked, and he goes, hey, I told you that I'd lost that weight, which I did, but he's like, I gained that back, just so you know. So it is dangerous, and you have to really stick with it. And that kind of scared me a little bit, but I was like, I really do care about myself, so I won't be that person. But so I lost the weight. Long story short, I go to meet with the doctor like the day before surgery. He was going to do final scans or whatever, right? And my mom called me, and because I had been letting her know about what was going on, and she's like, "Mijo, I really don't think you should do this surgery. Like, is there anything else you can do?" I was like, "No, mom, this is what I got to do." And she's like, I don't believe it that the doctors are going to force you to do that. And I was like, well, they're not like forcing me, mom, but they're saying that, like, like it's the safest way for me to drop the weight and prevent something serious. Um, they're afraid that if I don't do it, that I won't stick with it and I'll stay this way for a lot longer, and then I'll develop something. She's like, can you just please ask him for me? I know you don't want to for you, but can you just please ask him for me if there's anything else you can do? I was like, all right, mom, I'll ask. So I asked him, I go, hey, talk to my mom. I really love my mom, and I can't not ask you. So is there anything else we can do to avoid this surgery? He's like, I mean, yes, there is, but like I said, we're really worried about you, and um, you if you do, you have to like hit the ground running hard. You have to really take this serious. And I was like, absolutely, man. What can you do for me? I was like, but I don't want to do Ozempic. That's what I said. But you hear things, right? I was like, but I don't want to do Ozempic. And he goes, are you opposed to any kind of medication? I was like, no, but I don't want to do Ozempic. And he's like, there's another one that we use, and we've had some good success. And I was like, all right, but do I have to do it for a long time? He's like, I mean, you don't have to do it for a long time, but you have a lot of weight to lose. And don't think it's a miracle drug, because you're not going to lose a ton of weight. It's just going to help with your appetite and whatnot, right? So I was like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But mind you, that 2 weeks prior to that meeting, I had already started Herbalife 2 meal replacement shakes.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was like, I'm going to lose this weight. My mom sent me a big old package of Herbalife, like $500 worth
Oh,
of stuff.
nice.
like, you got to do this. She's been doing it since the 80s. So,
Nice.
yeah. And so I had started the meal replacement shakes, and the shakes was something I felt like helped me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That'll keep me full, and there's a
Yep.
lot less calories than what I normally eat.
And healthier calories.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I lost a little bit of weight, enough for them that they liked, and then so they put me on that medication, and I continued with that. So I after like 3 weeks, and I'll tell you that those first 3 weeks were hell. It was
Yep.
headaches and like very miserable,
Yep.
very I was angry, very irritable. It was bad. But then there was like this day where I just felt better, like a
Yeah.
weight got lifted, and I was like energized to hit the diet hard. So I made this plan, and I didn't look anything up. I was just like, what do I like that I think in my head would be good to lose weight? And I was like, I'll do the 2 meal replacement shakes, and I'll eat egg whites, tomatoes, and avocado because that's what I like. I like avocado. I love tomatoes. I love eggs, but I heard that you're not supposed to eat the yolk, and you'd be healthy if you eat the egg whites. So I was like, all right, I can do a bunch of egg whites because I used to eating so much,
Right.
and avocados and tomatoes. So I'd make this big bowl of egg whites, tomato, and avocado as my third meal. And I'd substitute lunch or dinner one day and the other day, you know. I did that for about 3 to 4 months straight, relig-
Wow.
religiously. At some point, I incorporated apples and like chomps, the meat sticks,
Okay.
one a day if I got hungry. And I was drinking a ton of water. And then I started putting like um, electrolytes in my water, and I felt like, hey, that's gonna fill me up too. Every time I get hungry, I'm just gonna suck down 30 ounces of water or whatever. And yeah, I mean, within I don't know 6 to 8 months, I had lost like 80 pounds,
Nice. Oh my
60 to
God, that's
80 pounds.
amazing.
Yeah, lost a lot of weight.
I am so excited to hear you didn't get the surgery.
Me
And your
too.
friend that said I gained it all back, that's true. If we don't change our mindset, nothing changes. If we don't take the mental fortitude to decide in our head that we need to change, nothing will change. I've seen so many people have that surgery that are heavier than when they went in for that surgery, and it's so unhealthy.
Yeah, I can't imagine. When I went to go see my doctor after I lost that weight, he hadn't seen me in those
Nice.
8 months, right?
Yeah.
And I come in, and he's like kind of did a double take. Rick, he's like, "Wow, man, you did it, dude. Good job." I was like,
Yeah.
"Thanks, man. Thanks." He's like, like he's like, "I'll tell you, man. I have a lot of patients, over 130 patients that are on medication or
Yep.
have had surgery, and you're like top 2%. You
Yep.
did really good." So yeah, I just kept with it. I lost that 80. When I got to about 80 pounds, I was like, oh, I'm much more lighter. I could go run now. I've always wanted to be a runner.
Nice.
Um, so, but at this time, this is my wife and I were really bad, and so because we were fighting so much, I just dove headfirst into the weight loss, right?
Yeah.
And then so again, we're still fighting, we're not talking, we're still living under the same roof, we own the house together. I'm like, I'm not going nowhere, she's not going nowhere, we ain't, none of us are abandoning our kids. So I just was going to work every day, sticking strong with my diet, and one day I was just really bad, really depressed, really frustrated. And it was the night before she told me she wanted a divorce, that she had met someone, and that broke me because I didn't want a divorce, and um, it sucked, right?
Yeah.
So then the next day, I'm a vice president for a general contractor company at the time. And I go to work in the morning and I'm just pissed. Like it's all going through my mind. And like I got like extremely depressed. And I'm not the kind of type of person that gets depressed, but it got really bad. And I was like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not even going to go to work. I don't care what they say. I don't care if they fire me. Like, who cares? She wants to do this. Fine. You know, like, who cares? What am I even doing this for? You know?
Right.
And so I go into Starbucks and I was like, yep, I'm going to grab this coffee. I'm going to go home. I walk in and I take my angry or sad face off and walk into the coffee shop, and there's four guys wearing F3 shirts, like standing waiting for their drinks. And so I had lost this weight. I want to start working out. And I was like, cool, there's four guys wearing these gym shirts. You know, that must be a cool gym that they get together for coffee. And it was these guys from F3. And I met them and I just went up to them. I was like, hey, what gym do you guys go to? And they're like, no, we don't go to a gym. We're just like a men's workout group, you know? I was like, oh, that's cool. I was like, how much is it? You know, it's free. Though you want to learn about it? I was like, yeah, man, I'm in. What's it about? And they told me, it's stands for Fitness Fellowship and Faith. And we get together every morning at 5:15 and we work out at different locations at different days of the week. You should come check it out. And I'm like, yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, shoot me the stuff. And they sent me the details, and it was four of them. And they give you a nickname when you go there after your very first workout. So it was Minnow, Scooper, Spork, and Tinks. Tinks is a 68-year-old guy.
Nice.
Right. And I got excited. Like it made me forget about what was going on in my life.
Sure.
And I went straight to my office, closed the door, got on the computer, looked up F3, went all in, read it all, signed up, put my information in there. Not really signing up, but you put your information in. And one of the guys, Scooper, goes, yeah, I'll text you later, man, to come to one of the workouts. Little did he know, I looked everything up, found out where the workouts were, what days. And so I was there the very next day. And on the computer, it said Ruck, 5:15 a.m. So it's 1 hour with a weighted backpack and we walk. I was like, I can do that. Haven't worked out in over 10 years, but I could totally walk.
That was your first workout?
My first workout in over a decade.
Nice.
Yeah. Obviously, since I've been married, I haven't worked out since before I was married. So I haven't worked out in over 15 years.
15 years, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure along the line in the beginning, I worked out a little bit. I don't know. But so, yeah, no, when I met my wife, I was consistently at the gym. After I met my wife, I never went to the gym again. So, I was excited, man. And I was like, yeah, I can do this. And I showed up and nobody was there. And I was like, what? But I showed up like 5:17, 5:16. They're like punctual. They were out. They were gone. And I was just like, oh, that sucks. Oh, well, whatever. It wasn't meant to be. And I get ready to walk away. And this other guy comes walking. Hey, what's up, man? I'm like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, is this F3? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I thought everybody left. He's like, oh, the guys that do the ruck left. The guys that do the run will be here at 5:30. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I wanted to be a runner. Oh boy, did I not know what I got myself into.
Exactly. How far did they run?
Like they did like 4.5 miles.
And you've done nothing.
I did like a quarter mile before I felt like I was dying.
Yeah. I love getting into that.
Yeah. They kept going ahead and they would come back and they'd be like, you're doing all right. You're doing good. You got this, man. Don't give up. You're doing all right. And I was like, thanks, man. And I was like,
dying and trying to look human.
And one of the guys comes back, Scooper. He's like, man, I can't believe you're here. I didn't think you were going to come right away. I'm like, yeah, man, like I really want to work out. I really want to, I just lost a bunch of weight, but I have a lot to go. and he's like our most avid runner. We have several avid runners, but Scooper's a really good runner. And he, I think he sensed, he's like, dude, I'm kind of worried for this guy, Rick, man. He looks like something's going to happen to him. So he stuck with me, and he just kept motivating me and kept inspiring me, you know? But during that run, I realized it was like the anger, the frustration, the sadness, everything that I was literally going through. That's what kept me going. Because I did want to stop. I was like, this is ridiculous. This is painful. Like I'm breathing extremely heavy. But I was so angry and I didn't know these guys. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to go. Maybe I'll just drop dead right here and it'll be over with, you know? And I was very frustrated. But he kept saying these positive things, man. And so, yeah, he just got me through it. And when I got back, I did like maybe 2 miles.
Good.
But they kept going and come back, going and come back, going and come back.
And so they did 20 and you did two, and then from the out and back. But
Yeah,
that's good. And so, what a power of energy, though. I mean, going through all these life changes, and your wife's wanting a divorce, and yeah, you get so caught up into life that we don't see ourselves.
yeah,
We don't see who we are, and it's so it's so common that people lose themselves when they get into relationships, and so common that we don't see who we are. And I, at one point in life, I was that same way of I'm going to give everything to this relationship no matter what happens. But the only gift I had was I was in the gym all the time and I used that as my outlet. But then we carry so much of that anger and frustration and overwhelm and everything in our body.
yeah.
And a great outlet is running, but also it's also managing our mental fortitude. That's what I do. I'm a mental fitness coach, and that's what I do is help people get out of that negative mindset because we apply that in so many areas of our lives. But even in you brought your story in of losing when you're losing the weight and how horrible you felt because your body is so used to this chemicals in it. It was like screaming for, don't do this to me. But then you got to that point of, okay, now I feel really great. You feel alive. And I'm sure as you lost the weight, you still felt better and better and better and better and better. And I'm really excited to hear that you didn't do the surgery, doing the pills. I'm sure you're off of them now, that you're just all natural on your own weight
Mhm.
journey. That because you,
I still do the shakes and I still eat
and
healthy.
that's good. I mean, that's amazing. And good on your mom. And good on you for listening to your
I,
mom.
I will tell you this, Karen, amidst all the crazy things when the, the, the relationship was near its end and there's a lot of fighting,
Yeah.
I'm a construction guy, 26 years,
Yeah.
you know, and bad back and bad knees. And, you know, there was a point in time where I was addicted to narcotics, you know, pain pills.
Mm. Wow.
So that was a big part too. You know, that played a huge role. And getting off that was miserable, you
Yeah,
know?
because that's an addiction to you too.
Hmm.
And that's oh,
So like, and then what did that do to my brain, you know? Because I did that for at least 3 or 4 years, you
yeah.
know? And so yeah, that's one of the other things. I went to my doctor. I was like, I don't want to do this no more. He's like, well, I haven't been prescribing this to you in a long time. I'm like, well, I'm getting them on the street. So
Great.
like, is there anything you can do to help me? Because I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
And he helped me out with that too. So yeah, no, it's been quite the journey.
So there's something deeper in your soul that really wants to have that needs to come out, that wants to have that shift because all along in the journey of your story is there's something different in life. And the humanness of us gets caught up in the ego, and then unfortunately the relationship gets tampered. But and I know that for myself in the past relationships, they were horrible and I was angry and blah blah blah. But all that and that shift in our life brings us to where we are today. And then things show up in our life today that keeps us going on the same journey that we're meant to be on. And so it was also that coming upon because how many people are first time runners at CIM? And I'm like, of course you are. And I never talk about my journey because, I mean, heck, you don't want to hear about what I do, especially on your first marathon.
Yeah, I do. You kidding me? I was excited. I'm like soaking everything in, all these people running around you, and you're in this world that you don't know nothing about, and all this. What am I doing here?
That's the best part though, too. So when I met my buddy that I run with, and I always want to run it faster. He wants to run it slower, so sometimes I have to back off and honor him. But because we laugh and talk and the whole time, when I first met him, he was making these snidey jokes about wanting a beer at mile 6, and I made a snidey remark back to him. I'm like, you gotta wait till you finish. You gotta run a freaking marathon if you want to have a beer, dude. And so he came up to me, and then we started talking. I look at him, and I see his shirt. I'm like, what shirt do you have on? He had on a Western States 100 mile shirt. I'm like, what are you doing with that shirt on out here? Who are you? And so I think up to my 50th 100 mile run, and I have a 250 mile run in May this year. So
Wow.
there's no way I'm going to talk about that on a marathon because the marathon's about you guys. It's about you guys being your first marathon until you do your second marathon. Then we'll talk you into a 50K. And then why not? I mean, a 50K is just next door, right? Because it's just a few more miles longer. You can do that.
Mhm.
That's
Yeah.
what people told me.
The guy I was running with, which is so funny, excuse me, because I'm running with this guy, and he's like, everybody knows him. And I'm like, dang, dude, you're famous, bro. His name is Don Kaiser. He works for Fleet Feet.
Okay.
I work for Fleet Feet part time now. I got so
Downtown Sacramento or
on J
okay.
Street. Yeah, I fell in love with running. I started joining like hikes. I went to Fleet Feet to learn about like extracurricular activities. I went to their runs. I was like, hey, what can I do to be a part of this? And they're like, oh, you can join our mentorship program. I'm like, cool, sign me up. I became a mentor. I do the Fleet Feet hike club in the spring,
Nice.
summertime.
All right.
And then, I do CIM training. I mentor the CIM trainees. And yeah, so, and then as I was doing this mentorship with them, I was like, man, I really want to learn more about this. And somebody goes, you should go get a job at Fleet Feet part time. You'd be great. I'm like, you could give me a job? And so I did, and that's how I got into CIM. I was never going to sign up for that. And
Good on you.
they were like, hey guys, OS First and A6, or OS First. OS First is offering a entry to CIM this year, 3 weeks before CIM, to the Fleet Feet staff.
Right.
So put your name in a hat. You might win it, right? And I was like, I'm not going to win. I'm sure there's a ton of actual runners that are going to put their name in. And sure enough, I didn't. This girl, Genevieve, won. She's an awesome person, a great runner, fantastic runner. And she's like, yay, I won. And I'm like, I told you I wasn't going to win. And that same day, she sends a message in Slack and it's like, hey guys, you know what? I haven't really trained for it. I'm not going to do it. Let's give it to someone else. They're like, okay, great. We're going to redo the drawing tomorrow. And that's it. I got it. And I didn't know for like 3 days because I only work like on the weekends. And I show up one day and I don't check Slack. I'm like, I already do band and this and that. I'm like, don't give me more
I know,
applications.
right?
So I show up to work and they're like, yay, congrats, Rick. And I'm like, the heck? I forgot that I put my name in the hat. I didn't notice that she gave it up. And everybody's just congratulating me. And they're like, you got it, man. You won. You're going to CAM. I was like, oh my God, what? That's right. I forgot it. I'm like, for real? They're like, yeah. I'm like, what? That's crazy. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just do this. When is it? They're like, oh, it's like 3 weeks away. I was like, okay, I got this, In my head, I'm thinking, hey, I've been working out for like 6 months. I can do this.
So you had never ran further than 6 miles?
until I found out I was going to CIM, and that next weekend I did 11.2 miles,
Okay.
which was pretty interesting. I did Lake Natoma for the first time,
Okay.
and that was an experience, right?
Yep.
Because that kind of hurt, but it wasn't that bad. So I figured, hey, I'll just take it easy. I'll do my slow pace. I should be all right. I couldn't comprehend what
Right.
20.2 miles was going to do to
Right.
me, but yeah, that's how I got in, and that's how we met.
That's how we met. That's awesome. So did you cry at the end?
At the end,
At
shoot, like before, in between,
Good.
mile 20, mile 22.
Everything past 11 then was new territory.
Yeah, Don kept going, hey, you just PR'd. Hey, you just PR'd. Hey, look, you just ran 12. Hey, look, you just ran your first half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did 2000 was the first time I ran CIM. A girlfriend and I were gonna train for it, and I was a long distance cyclist at the time. And I thought, okay, I'll start running. Oh my gosh, I hated running. That hurts so bad. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing this till I love it. And so we ran CIM in 2000, and I did a 4:01, I think, and couldn't walk.
Tell me about it.
Could not walk after that.
I couldn't believe how cold it was. That was freezing.
It colder?
Some people are saying it was raining last year. I'm like,
Oh, last year did it rain? There's been years that yeah, it's been I drug my daughter through her first CIM. Oh my gosh. It was torrential downpours with like 30-mile-an-hour headwinds. She
wow.
shows up in a tank top and shorts. I'm like, "Girl, what are you doing?" And I made her go get a trash bag out of the gas station at the start there. Oh my God. That was the longest marathon I'd ever done.
That sounds crazy. Yeah, that
So
was.
what's next?
Next is Shamrockin'.
Good.
Wait, when is it's a trail run.
Way to cool.
No.
Salmon Falls?
Salmon Falls. When is that? Is
I
that
don't know.
February?
Might be.
Oh gosh, I think it might be Salmon Falls. Dawn
So is
is like,
that your first trail run?
this will be my first. CIM was my second official race. DDLM, Dia de los Miles, was my first ever wearing a bib, and that was a 5K. So,
So the 5K to a marathon. I've had 50K to 125 miles. I've had there's been crazier people out there. So you're join the group. Welcome to the club.
I'm excited. Oh, and I want to do CIM again. I'm so energetic about this that I went to Fleet Feet and I go, hey, you know how I'm part of this F3 thing? They're like, yeah. I'm like, is there anything you can do to help me out? I really want to do something nice for these guys that have done so much for me, because I'm not afraid to say this. I'm very happy to say this. F3 has changed my life,
That's exciting.
and they are the main reason why I'm, one, here today, two, in better spirits, three, motivated to keep working out. Like, just the list goes on.
Yep.
Never in my life have I ever met a group of guys that on the first day of meeting you, they're willing to call you a brother and be there for you regardless of what the
That is
situation.
so cool. That is so cool. I think we talked about this before we got on the podcast, and so I met you on CIM, and then I said I wanted you on my podcast, and that was the end of it. And you told me your name, and I kept repeating your name because I always have a tendency of forgetting people. But then I look Rick D. Teresa up on Facebook. There's like four of them. I'm like, now who is this? Who is this one? And I didn't want
Really?
to friend anybody. So then I'm running. I think there's a week about the week after CIM or maybe 2 weeks because you have a group up here and I remember seeing them down there and on my do on they had their flag F3. I was like, I had no idea what that was about, what they're advertising, and I thought this is interesting. I was just curious, and then you told me you were part of them and you told me that, so I remembered that. And I'm running down my do and I see this group of 40 plus guys cross the road on the trail. I'm like, I know who they are. And then I'm stalking them as I'm on the road and they're up on the
That's
trail.
awesome.
We're parallel with each other. And then they came on the steep part of my do. And actually they turned right off the trail, which is towards me. And I'm running up that steep hill. And I stopped right in the middle of the street to stop them. I'm like, hey, you guys, I met this guy. And so they were super, they told me what they're about. And it's like, that's way cool. Do you know this guy? No, we don't know that guy. I said, well, I think you're down in Sacramento, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, he's down in Sacramento. And they said, we'll find him. And so then here we are. So,
And they did. They did. It
yeah.
didn't take long at all because when I read the message, it was like, "Hey, we went on this run yesterday, and we met this awesome lady, and she said she met this guy Rick." And then when they go, "Oh yeah, that's Waxy," and they're like, "Oh, that guy. We've heard of that guy." Because by this time, like my story's kind of gotten around. My story goes even deeper too because my wife. I won't say exactly why, but I went to jail and I shouldn't have gone. It was not okay, not cool. But upon getting out, I had a restraining order and I couldn't see my kids and I couldn't go home. So I lived in a hotel for a couple of weeks, still kept going to work out because I knew that was another down point in my life. I was really angry this time, right? But my guys kept me grounded and they're like, dude,
Yep.
we're here for you, whatever you need.
Yep.
And I was like, I can't go back home. I need a place to live. I don't have a place to live. I don't have any money. Um, I called my brother and I was like, bro, can you please help me? Like, I don't have a job. I was planning on not being able to live at home. And he's like, yeah, I got you, man. I'll help you out. My brother flew the very next day, got me an attorney. Um, and we're looking for a place to live. And I couldn't find one. So he's like, I'll put you up in another hotel for another week, but we got to find something, dude. I don't want to keep throwing money away in hotels. And I asked the group, and I was like, hey guys, I'm hurting, man. I need a place to stay. Does anybody know of anything? And they're like, yeah, we'll ask around. And a really awesome guy, his name is Pino. He came through for me in a major way, and he's in real estate, so he owns a couple rental properties, and he's like, hey, I got one right by your place so that you can be close to your kids. I'll talk to the property management company and I'll set you up. I was like, wow, I appreciate that. Came in, nothing, nothing in this place. I don't have furniture. I can't go to my house and get stuff. I was like, okay, well, I have a place to live, you know? And that next day, he asked me, hey, do you mind if I post something for you? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, yeah, just try to get you some stuff. I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool. I appreciate it. So he made a post and kind of like broadcasted it around Northern California region F3, and everything I have in this house was provided by guys from F3. Everything.
So when we're in a position of asking, it's always given. That's a support of the universe and the people in your life. And when you're on a path of being open to whatever, it happens.
Oh, and that was so hard though. Like I did not want to
Of
accept it.
course.
I didn't know that's
Yeah.
what he was going to do.
Yeah. But it humbles you and it makes you a better person and makes you a deeper soul and it will change your life. I was in the same position. I left the kid's dad with nothing. I had three children, nothing. And my dad was good enough to set me up into a duplex, but we sat there with nothing, no furniture, nothing.
Yeah,
But I did have my kids' stuff, but I didn't have anything. We didn't have a couch. We had a kitchen table. The kids had all their stuff. I didn't have a bed. It didn't matter. Stuff doesn't matter when we know that we need to change our lives and be in whatever happens, be open to whatever is possible gonna land for us. You have to be open to that. And you were, even though divorce is sad. That change is super sad. It's hard. It's tough, but it's who are you being today is really what matters because who you are being is going to enhance your relationship with your kids.
I mean, I think it already has too. My daughter's always telling me like, "Dad, I'm so proud of you. You look so much younger. You're not mean anymore." She says some amazing things, and she's like, "I'm so proud of you, Dad." Every time she says that, it makes me feel good.
How old are your kids?
My daughter's 11 and my son is 4.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
young. But
yeah,
still, they remember that, and now you're going to be in a place that you can help them understand and share your story with them and what goes on, so they understand it as they get older. When they become capable of understanding, because that brings you closer. And just
yeah.
because we divorce doesn't make us a bad person, doesn't make anything. It's a process of life,
Right. Yeah, yeah. I don't look at it negatively anymore. What good is it going to do if I think negative, or
right?
am I rude to her, or it's not going to do no good. So
Right.
I strive for to be a good person every day of my
Yep.
life. Be as amicable as possible. Let her know that, hey, I still love you, and I'm always
Yep.
going to be here for you and the kids, and I never want to leave my kids. I'm never going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
So whether you like it or not, you're going to be stuck with me.
Well, if you can have a workable relationship with her because you guys have the kids involved, but I offer you I offer you the idea to embrace that. What is the most loving thing that you can do anytime you're around your ex-wife? What's the most loving thing in your heart that you can do to be in the love that you are? And you can offer that to your kids as well. So get out of our ego and be in your heart of, if you really love her, be that love, be that light for that, and just feel it for yourself, because that's energy. And when we express that energy of love, it's received at some point when they're ready to receive it.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing though, Karen, because I went through a lot. My family's been there for me the whole time. They've supported me all along the way, and they've always respected me and my relationship. They never said anything negative. But when the last straw happened, and they're like, "Hey, are you sure? Is this it?" I'm like, I mean, yeah, I think it's at the point of no return, right? A line was crossed. And I'm no fool to be with somebody that tells me they're with someone, right? Um, so yeah, I told my family, yes, this is it. And so now they're like, hey, over time, conversations and stuff, they're like, we always kind of saw the writing on the wall, but that's what you wanted, and as long as you're happy, we're happy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like there's been some ridiculous challenges, and it's I have plenty of reasons to hate her and not ever want to talk to her again, right? But again, it's not going to do any good. And yeah, I want my kids to see that, hey, we're better than that. I'm a firm believer in God. I'm very spiritual. I'm trying to get even closer to Him now, even though I'm still going through a super tough situation. Extremely tough. But I also realize I gotta stop thinking negative, stop mentioning the negative, all the bad stuff that has happened. I gotta let that go. It has happened. It's done. Yeah, things have not gotten better in some cases or in some areas, but they have gotten better in probably the ones that matter.
Yeah, it takes time, and
Yeah.
it's so sometimes I look at challenges, and we can look at them being hard, or we can look at the opportunity as what is this going to teach me in the long run? What am I going to learn about me in the long run? This is all about you. It's not about them. It's about you. What is your path? And you have the opportunity to look at where you've come from and the choices you've made. I mean, 160 pounds later, that's beautiful, because you have that energy in you, and you have that power in you to make those decisions. And it's these challenges are just seeing a different light of challenging you to be a better you, to be the best you can be.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's all I want to do, and that's like my focus is
Yeah.
be the best version of myself, and really all the energy, all the focus that I have, put it into that,
Yeah.
and wait for those blessings to come when they do. And
Well,
if there's more hardships,
be
I'll
open
be
to
ready
seeing
for
those blessings when they come.
that.
As for us meeting and being successful on your first podcast.
Yeah. Yay.
Good job,
You made
Rick.
it easy though. You made it easy because one, when I met you, you know how like they say, man, there's you meet some people and the first impression is one thing, but you have this aura and the way you were talking. I felt like you were the female version of Scooper on my first run because you were there with me and you were just supportive, and I
Yeah.
felt that and I really appreciated that. And then the fact that you were telling me about your podcast and you're like, I'd love to have you on one day. I was like,
Who am
I'm
I?
cool, but that's amazing. So yeah, no,
And here you are.
yeah,
Thank you so much, Rick. Thank you for being on this podcast. And thank you for sharing yourself and your story with all of us.
yeah, no, definitely. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope that we meet again, and I'll see you out there on the races. We'll hopefully see you on CIM next year because I
Yep.
want to go back.